As the consensus number 2 projected pick in the upcoming NBA draft, Scoot Henderson is very clearly one of the more hyped prospects of the year. A lot of people make the claim that he would go number 1 in most other drafts, but due to the Wembanyama effect, he is projected to go second. Scoot himself claims that he should be the number 1 pick in this draft. How close is that to the truth? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Hoop Hierarchy. This is KC. So first and foremost, I wanted to talk a bit about Scoot's background and how he got to where he ended up today. Scoot grew up in a basketball family, as one of the youngest of 7 siblings, 3 of which played college basketball. Both of his parents worked in the health and fitness field as well. Clearly as a family, they were incredibly physically gifted, and his parents imparted the virtue of hard work and athletics on the kids. As a freshman in high school, Scoot didn't play all that often, but he exploded onto the scene as a sophomore, however, scoring 49 points in one game. He carried over this success from his sophomore year into his junior year, where he proceeded to average 32, 7, and 6 before reclassifying and joining the G League Ignite as a 5-star recruit, landing him where he is now. Now, onto the main focus of the video, his skill set. So, what I think is apparent watching his game is where his true strengths lie. Scoot is a downhill, strong, and extremely athletic guard in the vein of Westbrook, Ja, Derrick Rose, through and through. And as a prospect, he has the traits of all 3 of those players in his game. It doesn't take long in observing some of Scoot's tape to see why these type of comparisons get made. The pure downhill ability in his game is something to behold, both off the drive and on the fast break. When making moves both off the pick and roll and in the isolation game, he has a very fast twitch type burst where he can stop and go on a dime, and his crossover and hesitations free up space for him almost immediately. What you do see a lot with his drives is his ability to contort his body to avoid shot blockers, a common trait in more athletic type guards that he fits in with. Scoot certainly does not lack in this ability of his game. In contrast to his getting to the rim ability, his shooting is a bit more hit or miss. The best version of Scoot is where he's able to mix up his drives off the pick and roll and hit some nice pull-up jumpers from the mid-range. He does this quite often and actually hits an acceptable percentage on his mid-range pull-ups, all things considered. His range leaves a lot to be desired, though. This is where a lot of the flaws lie with Scoot's offensive game, and if he can get this cleaned up, he has a chance to be truly elite. While I did mention the fact that I believe him to be an acceptable shooter from the mid-range, overall he is very inefficient at this point in time percentage-wise. His field goal percentage in the 2022-23 season was 42.9%, and his three-point percentage was 27.5%. This is pretty indicative percentage of a type of guy that translates as a volume scorer that shoots a lot but inefficiently. But a couple of things that are encouraging to me on this front for Scoot is, firstly, his shot form is sound and his free throw percentage is good. This seems to indicate to me that those percentages can easily be improved by refining his decision making at the professional level and letting the game come to him as opposed to forcing the issue, which is what I often find is the cause of low shooting percentages for these type of prospects. Next up is playmaking. So another quality strength for him, this is part of his game that I find is the most refined. His basketball IQ on the playmaking end is really quality. He doesn't tend to force passes, and he makes the right decision more often than not. This is a really impressive trait for him because, in my opinion, intelligence is a must for a playmaking point guard, and the fact that he has shown to have it is of utmost importance when it comes to the scalability of this trait to the pro level. What I have found to be his most effective aspect of his playmaking is when he combines the strength in attacking the basket with his accurate passing ability. The gravity he commands on his drives to the basket opens up a plethora of shots around the perimeter, and he has the vision and accuracy to find these shooters on a regular basis. I see there being a high likelihood that, at the very least, he will be an effective playmaker. In the hypothetical that he never develops a jump shot and stays at his floor for his whole career, he still, in my opinion, will be at the very least a really solid playmaking point guard based on his vision and athleticism combination that he has shown. Finally, his defense. I think that while this is an area of improvement, I think he has some good traits here as well. Firstly, his wingspan is 6'9", which is huge for his height. It gives him the ability to contest shots more effectively, and it partners well with his active hands on defense, which in my opinion is his biggest strength on that end. He is really good in the passing lanes, and he stays active, able to get some timely steals because of it. I do find his defense to be a bit hit or miss, however, as he tends to be a bit undisciplined on that end. This is definitely something that can be coached out of him, in my opinion. As for a comparison, I think I've already discussed this one a bit. I think out of the 3 that I did bring up in the same mold as Scoot, being Derrick Rose, Ja, and Russell Westbrook, I think he has the most similar traits to Russell Westbrook with his great downhill speed and strength combination. A lot of people hate on Russ for various reasons, but do not forget this guy was the MVP of the league. If Scoot ever hits those heights, he can be considered a big success in any regard. I do think the difference comes in between the two on the shooting aspect of the game. Russ really never came along as a shooter, but I feel like Scoot's more natural shooting form gives him a better chance to do so. I don't think he will ever quite be elite, but oftentimes opponents don't really feel threatened by Westbrook's jumper. I think Scoot can get to the point where his opponents at least have to respect him on that. So, now time to answer the question. Do I think Scoot Henderson should actually be the number 1 overall pick over Victor Wembanyama? My answer to that is no, I don't. I think various drafts in the past, a prospect like Scoot would go number 1 in something like 50 to 70% of drafts. I believe he is that level of prospect. Victor, though, he's a different story. Even with the concerns I have with Victor on potential injuries, the pure talent there is just too much to pass up at that number 1 spot. He could be a complete game changer for any team that drafts him. This does not discount Scoot, though, as whoever ends up with the number 2 pick in this draft should feel very fortunate that this is the year they have it, as they're likely to be getting a number 1 overall quality player. I see Scoot stepping in and showing real promise on the offensive end almost immediately. I think he may struggle a bit defensively in his first season or so with a bigger and more skilled competition than what the G League had, but give him a year or two and I definitely can foresee him showing a real two-way ability on the regular. And that will conclude the deep dive on Scoot Henderson's player profile. Like always, I appreciate the support on this channel. I've been getting more appreciation early on in this process than I expected for sure. So I thank everyone for watching. If you enjoy the content, like and subscribe. I got plenty of stuff going on to try to improve the channel and try to add new content at all times. I got a lot of feedback about my microphone, which, to be honest with you, yeah, it was terrible. Got a new one, so hopefully it sounds better for you guys. If you have any other content idea for the future, please let me know. I always want to take into account anything that you guys say when it comes to creating these videos because, the basis of any channel is a strong subscriber base. And so, like I said, if you guys got any ideas for me, just let me know in the comments. I will definitely try to get to you as soon as I possibly can on that. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this one.